Hey friends, welcome to Hot News. It's a great Wednesday for you. Yes, it is. I'm telling you what your life is like. Yes, that's good, okay? And I'm also gonna tell you that when you're on the internet, you don't want to just be using the same old credit card number everywhere. You don't want to be using the same old password everywhere. So that's where our sponsor today, Privacy.com, comes in. My friends, if you're trying to purchase stuff on the internet, you're going to want to use Privacy.com to make sure that your cards are protected, because you just randomly generate them for each place where you're shopping. You're buying stuff on Amazon, bam, create a new card. Oh, you're trying to get a Spotify subscription, which is relevant to a news article today, bam, you created a new card on Privacy.com. And the best part is you can set monthly limits, so you make sure that that card for Spotify is only dedicated to that Spotify amount and no more. You can set them up for one-time use, monthly limits, all of that good stuff, and you can make sure that you know when things get hacked on the websites that you're dealing with, because you'll see that somebody tried to charge you a little bit more than should have been, and you'll know before the retailer even tells you. So why don't you check it out at privacy.com/UFD, and you can save $5 off your first purchase with them. That's $5 free. And talking about today's first article, which is the headline, if you use that $5 coupon code, then a Tesla is going to cost you just $95 right up front. That's right, my friends. So we're talking about Tesla because they've made some changes to how the ordering process works with the electric vehicles. Previously, you either had to make a $1,000 or $2,500 refundable deposit when you were purchasing one of their cards. So either the Model 3, the Model S, the X, or even currently the Y, you could put a $2,500 deposit down, and then you reserve the car for when you're actually going to want to pick it up. However, they've made some changes in order to help the cash flow of the company, because that's one of the big things that they really need to get working. So the big change is that now, instead of a refundable deposit, you now have to make a $100 non-refundable deposit, which obviously helps to shore up some money for the company and make sure that they're not losing when people decide to cancel their refundable orders. So they get to keep your $100, and they make sure that they have a steady stream of cash coming in, and that if you decide to change your mind, then they're not out at a loss. They could use that $100 towards the server space that you took up when you decided to place your order for that Model Y, but then you decided that you actually didn't need a 7-seat crossover that's really tiny in the back seats. Except for the only issue there is that the Model Y is the only exception to this $100 policy right now. It still is a refundable $2,500 deposit. They've also made changes to how the cancellation process works, so that if you do cancel whatever order you had with Tesla, you cannot order the same trim within the next year. So let's say you get a base model Model 3. If you decide to cancel that order, you can no longer order the base model Model 3. You would either have to go with the long-range all-wheel drive option or the performance option that they have. You can't just get the same one in a different color. If you find out, oh, hey, I got the blue. Shucks, I don't like the blue no more. Well, if you don't want the blue, you're gonna have to get in a different trim and pay either a little bit more or a little bit less, depending on which one you ordered. So obviously, Tesla changing a whole lot of stuff to make the business more sustainable. And speaking of sustainability, if you use the link that we have in the video description to purchase a Tesla, you get a free 1,000-mile supercharger. So apparently, even if you just reserve a car, they give you a referral code so that for whatever future car you might order, you can do it. So use the code down below if you're thinking about pre-ordering a Tesla, my friends. Anyways, but that's not the only Elon Musk news that we have going on today. Tweeting out yesterday on October 22nd, he said, sending this tweet through space via Starlink satellite, because apparently Elon Musk at his house has one of the Starlink terminals. This is actually one of the ways that they're trying to bring internet to the entire world. Sorry, Giraffe Man. Is through their Starlink internet satellites. They launched a few satellites earlier this year in May. SpaceX still needs to launch 6 to 8 more times in order to ensure continuous service through the upper and lower latitude bands, as well as a total of 24 launches to ensure global coverage. But previously we talked about how they requested the International Telecommunications Union to get an additional 30,000 satellites approved on top of the 12,000 that have already been approved, when they actually don't need that many, because they want to provide more customized service to different people in different parts of the world. So Elon Musk doing the tweet first, saying that he tweeted from the Starlink, and then later adding, holy crap, it worked. Because it did work. But speaking of Elon Musk, Tesla, all that car stuff, the Georgia Supreme Court ruled that police would indeed need to get a warrant before actually accessing the data on your car, and then it is not readily available for police to actually just access. They would need a warrant firsthand, which is good for a lot of people who are concerned about privacy. Obviously, this could have long-term ramifications and more widespread ramifications in other states, because they're citing that this is based on the Fourth Amendment right protecting an individual against unreasonable search and seizure. So this is part of that, and if they're ruling that, then the other states could go that way in future rulings. So we'll have to see where that develops. Speaking of developments, Razer has developed a new laptop that you might be interested in if you like optical switches at all. Optical switches using lasers to make sure that they can detect key presses, and this would allow them to have very short throws on a laptop because you actually don't need to have physical membranes. This actually might be a good idea for Apple moving forward. Instead of their terrible butterfly switch mechanisms, they could actually use the freaking optical switches. But that's not all Razer has on tap, because they now have allowed people to place orders for their Raptor 27-inch monitor that was announced, I believe, at Computex this year. 27-inch 1440p, 144 hertz, 1 millisecond IPS panel with HDR 400, and then all of the goodness that you would expect of a typical monitor with HDMI connection, DisplayPort, all of that, and then edge-to-edge bezel-less screen viewing area is what they're calling it, which it doesn't have a height adjustable stand. It actually only just tilts to 90 degrees so that you can easily insert all of the cables that you have, or you want to use it overhead for some reason, but no height adjustable stand. It's kind of sad. It also has 95% of the DCI P3 color space, which is all well and good, except for the fact that it's coming in at a Razer markup of $700, which is well above the price point that you would pay for a comparable monitor from another company. Yikes, my friends, $700. We will be getting one for review, so we can let you know if it's worth it. But based on raw specs alone, this Razer Raptor monitor just don't seem worth it. But you know what does seem worth it? Watching movies on the internet. And previously, Nielsen was only able to rate Netflix to figure out how many people were watching that. And Nielsen, in case you're not familiar, is the rating company in the United States that tells you how many people watched a specific show. Well, now it has been rolled out for Amazon Prime Video. They're going to be able to quote how many people have watched Amazon Prime Video on TV sets, not necessarily on mobile or PC, which, according to how it's been done with Netflix, actually isn't that biased, and they should get a good indicator. I'm not quite so sure about that. I totally watch my Amazon Prime and Netflix exclusively on my laptop and not on a TV. So we'll have to see if that's actually true. But according to their ratings, the new Amazon Prime show The Boys was viewed 4.1 million times per episode, with the premiere averaging a little over 6 million across its first 10 days, which is fantastic. I love The Boys. You guys should totally watch it if you're into rogue superhero people. And then a feature that people have been waiting for, talking about Nielsen rating being added, Pokemon Go is apparently getting multiplayer battles in 2020 so that you can fight against other people. But in case you want to live in a dystopian world where you have to fight against drones, UPS and CVS have teamed up to bring drone delivery medication to you. This is not UPS's first foray into prescription delivery. They've also partnered with WakeMed in the past to bring different drugs to people just on the fly. This is in contrast to FedEx and Walgreens partnering up with FedEx's Wing team. And then it's also possible that there might be some more competition coming into the space with Uber's Elevate program, which currently is only for food, but could be used for other such things in the past. But CVS and Walgreens still going head to head on every street corner, and now in every sky corner. And soon, in every corner of the internet, you're gonna find fake videos, especially as the 2020 political race is heating up. And what's heating up is Amazon, Facebook, and Microsoft dropping deep fake videos out on the internet to hopefully combat against people not knowing what is real and what is fake. This is part of the deep fake detection challenge they're committing in partnership with MIT to put as many deep fake videos as they possibly can out on the internet, so that bots that detect deep fakes will have better accuracy ratings, so because they have more piles of fake footage to pull from to find out what's real and what's not. But what is real is that after many, many years, TeamSpeak is finally getting a UI update, taking a lot of design cues from Discord, but still having the benefit of you being able to own and run your own private server for voice communication, whereas Discord, you have no private access or usability. It's all public. So TeamSpeak, Discord, the war rages on, but TeamSpeak looking more modern today. Speaking of today, there's new indication in Linux drivers that Intel's 10 nanometer Ice Lake could be coming to servers and desktops sometime soon. This is also coming in news with drivers showing that Intel's Project Z GPUs should have multi-GPU support, although it doesn't look like this is necessarily going to be for discrete with discrete in a Crossfire or SLI format, but actually it might be with the integrated GPU that is on a CPU plus a discrete Project Z GPU to have that happen. But speaking of GPUs, there's indication that AMD's GPUs in the future might have BFloat16 hardware implementations into it in the GPU architecture. This BFloat16 is used in a lot of AI applications. In fact, Google says that it's one of their secrets to high performance on their cloud TPUs, which they use for AI processing. But AMD won't be the first to be rolling it out to their stuff, because there's some indication that Intel might actually be rolling it out to its Xeon scalable CPUs in the future. So BFloat16 going to be used in a whole lot of AI processing, neural network stuff going forward, and it looks like AMD's getting in on that train up front. And this next article I was going to talk about with Reece here, but he had to leave for some reason. So it's the Fuji Xpro3. The embargo is lifted on that last night. You can now pre-order it. It's a new mirrorless system. It's okay. It's not great. It's pretty much primarily used for people who want to take still photography or who are photojournalists, and not necessarily people who are trying to do hybrid shooting of photos and videos, because the way the screen works, you can only look at the viewfinder if you pull it out, and then if you don't pull it out, it's just going to show you the baseline like ISO aperture stuff at the front. Reece isn't a huge fan, but it is kind of cool. 200 Hertz OLED, fun fact. And then I mentioned earlier at the beginning in the ad spot with privacy.com about Spotify. And yes, my friends, if you become a Spotify premium or family user, they are re-rolling out a campaign where you get a free Google Home Mini with the music streaming service. I've already claimed mine because I have Spotify family, so that my wife and I can listen to what we want. And then we also have a dedicated playlist for the baby, because he has specific music that helps him sleep and keeps him in the dreamland so that he doesn't have seizures in the middle of the night. So we have his own little Spotify family account for him. Whew. But speaking of Google stuff, Google Stadia's Founders Edition is completely sold out in the United States and Canada. This is joining the European people who already had Founders Edition sold out, and Google launched what was known as the Premier Edition. Google is hoping that the Premier Edition would ship out before the end of the year, with Founders Edition orders hopefully shipping within the first 2 weeks, is what Google's kind of saying. So if you got in early on the Founders Edition, you should have it on November 19th. Otherwise, people like me who placed their order in September, not back in, what was it, June? When Stadia was first announced, somewhere around there, June or July. So I placed mine in September when I knew that I was gonna be moving back to the States. I will probably get mine probably in like the first week of December, but I should have my Stadia access code so that I can actually play it on my Pixel device and not necessarily, but then I don't have the controller. It's complicated, okay? Speaking of more Google stuff, in case you actually want to pick up the Pixel 4 or Pixel 4 XL, Amazon's actually having a sale right now. If you use the Amazon link in the video description, which is an affiliate link, by the way, you can get a $100 gift card with the Pixel 4 or Pixel 4 XL. Quite good, $100 off, especially considering some of the failings that the Pixel 4 has. The extra $100 off might help to sway you in your purchase decision. Again, use our link down below, and you could also use today's video sponsor, privacy.com/UFD, to save $5 off for free, and then you create a custom card that allows you to just have it exclusively for that Amazon purchase, so nobody can make it so that you're buying a whole bunch of Amazon products with that card that they hacked from you, which isn't gonna happen, but if it did, well, then you wouldn't be ruined. Anyways, I'm gonna stop ruining this episode of Hot News in my flailing mouth, which has not been able to get through this episode today without stumbling quite a few times. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this episode. Hit the like button if you enjoyed it. Get subscribed to stay up to date on all of our tech-related content. I'm officially leaving South Africa in 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, I'm out of here, my friends. That sucks. All right, I'm also out of here for this video. Bye. What is wrong with my mouth?